Hello everyone, this is Dow here with another video. This is going to be a sort of topic talk. I don't know what I'd call it that. Probably silly, stupid name though, but anyway, I might do that. This is the Wednesday video, of course, and I am going to probably talk about sort of, since the current generation is pretty much ending in a way now, since the new generation, next generation consoles are coming out in just a matter of weeks. And therefore a lot of people will be getting those and going, all shiny, new games, new graphical leaps, new systems, new features, etc, etc, etc. And people spending their hard-earned money on those stuff and the games that's coming out at launch now. I'm just basically going to go over this sort of generation, and the thing is, and what I'm looking forward to the next generation and things like that there, since of course it's ending though. Basically start things off though, I'm not getting any of the consoles at launch. I'm not getting the Xbox One, I'm not getting the PS4. I was considering getting the PS4, but I'm not getting any of them at the moment though. But this is coming from someone who ended up saying, oh, I'm not going to get the 3DS, and ended up getting it. I'm not getting it at launch, or ended up getting it pretty much at launch. But the fact is, I'm gonna wait this time around, because even though I could pretty much can afford like one of them anyway, or both of them, but I'm not gonna bother wasting, was it pretty much £800 pretty much on the both of them. Though the fact is, there's not enough games for me to put down the price for those consoles at the moment though. Like there's two games, Shadowfall and Knack in the PS4 I tried, but I can wait. And Crimson Dragon's the only game I'm any interested in on Xbox One pretty much at launch, and that was a game that was originally meant to be out for the Xbox 360 and Kinect pretty much, but they just changed it to that there. But I'll wait for them games, I can wait, and I'll get both of them down the road eventually anyway though, because hey, if I want to stick with the next generation, I will do them though. But the fact is, I didn't get the PS3 until like over a year later though. I got it when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, and it was worth getting then because there was nothing really out for it. Like my brother had one at the time, so he did though, and I just played some of the games for it, like Heavenly Sword and that it came out in 2007. But they're coming out shortly, 15th of November is the PS4 in North America, 22nd is Xbox One, and like worldwide or certain parts worldwide, and the 29th of November is the PS4 here in Europe. And like I said, I'm not getting any of them at the moment though, but I will get them eventually down the road when there's more games out, and there pretty much are a few games coming out next year that I'm looking forward to getting. Like I'm very curious about Destiny, it looks pretty cool. And The Crew looks great, even though unfortunately that was delayed. Watch Dogs, which I know a lot of people are very much looking forward to though, and pretty much were pre-ordered the next gen consoles for, like the PS4 in particular. Pretty much that got delayed unfortunately, and I think some people have cancelled their pre-order because of that, because that was pretty much the game they wanted to buy their console for and get the console for, and since that's been delayed till next spring, March or so, whatever it may be, it's just like, yeah, there's nothing really here to warrant the money now for me, and therefore it's going to cancel and just wait till that game comes out, and then I'll pick it up then. And that's pretty much like a lot of people's thing. Like I know some people are getting them at launch, both of them at launch, and there's a few other ones just like, yeah, I'm going to wait. There's nothing really out there at the moment that makes me want to put down $1,000 or £800 or whatever price it may be, wherever it's in the world you live though. And that's pretty much my analysis on this way. I'm just going to wait. There's games coming out next year that I'm very much looking to play and coming on next gen. I'll get them then. I said Destiny, The Crew, Watch Dogs, might get on the PC perhaps, Titanfall, I know a few other games as well look pretty cool. The Witcher is coming out next year, but I can get it on the PC. But it's a lot of great games coming out next year though. But at the moment, nothing too appealing, nothing like to make me, oh, I have to get this console right now. It's like, okay, I can wait, and I can stick with the current stuff, because even though there's new consoles coming out, there are still games that I want to play that's coming out on the older consoles that I want to get this year though. although the Wii U is only out a year, there's games that are coming out for it that I want to get though. It's coming out for it between now and when I probably will get the new console. You know, Super Mario 3D World's coming out in the end of November. And you know, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Breeze coming out next year. You know, Super Smash Bros. You know, that Project X game might come out though. Bayonetta 2, for example. Oh boy, looking forward to that so badly though. That's probably one of my most anticipated games of 2014 if it comes out. That you know, for the Xbox 360, there's, you know, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 is coming out though. I might get it for the PC perhaps though, because I think it's coming out in the PC as well. I might just get it on that console. But there's a bunch of games that's coming out in current gen consoles over the next several months I'd like to get though, and for the handhelds as well. You know, Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds is coming out in the 3DS, and that's my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. And pretty much was my most anticipated game ever since it was announced back, you know, back earlier in the year though. And that's like, yep, I'm definitely getting this game, and therefore I have it pre-ordered. I've got the Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds 3DS XL pre-ordered. I've got the limited edition pre-ordered, and I'm going to be spending £200 odd overall on that game with the 3DS and the limited edition, because hey, it's a follow-up to my favourite game of all time, so why not? Like, my favourite game is A Link to the Past, and therefore I'm just gonna build my wall of cash on anything related to that game, and it is pretty much a follow-up because it's set in the same world, etc., which is pretty awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that game. It's coming out in what, 3 weeks? Yeah, Friday is the 1st of November, so yeah, 3 weeks. I'm very much looking forward to it. I cannot wait. But anyway, the current gen stuff though, since it's coming to an end now, I'm just going to go through some of the, you know, my maybe highlights and lowlights of the current generation now, because there has been a lot of highlights and there's been a lot of lowlights as well with this stuff though. You know, the Xbox 360 came out first. It came out in November 2005 in North America, and it came out in early December here, you know, 2005. And then the PS3 came out in November 2006 in North America, and it came out here in March 2007 in Europe. And of course the Wii came out in 2006 as well, November 2006. They came out in a couple of days apart from the PS3, and it came out here in December 2006 in Europe. So pretty much, you know, the Wii and the PS3 came out very close to each other, while the Xbox 360 had the year head start though. And this time around, of course, you know, it's Nintendo had the head start with the Wii U, but unfortunately that hasn't been doing as well as they probably thought it would be though. But I'll probably leave that until another time to talk about the Wii U and some of the problems it's been having though. But this is sort of mainly to do with the current gen stuff though, the Xbox 360, the PS3 and the Wii. And some people don't consider the Wii U next gen console. It is kind of a next gen console for Nintendo anyway though, although it is kind of on par with, in graphical capabilities pretty much, with what's currently out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. But you know, Xbox 360 came out first, and that's the first console I got. I got it on March 26, 2006. Yeah, I already know the day because it came out 2 days after The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. It came out March 24, 2006 here in Europe. And basically, some people might be saying, what? But to this day, 7.5 years later, that game is still my favourite game of this generation. It has not been topped. And that's 7.5 years ago now. Over 7.5 years ago. And that game is still my favourite game of this generation. There has been games that's come out since then that have been very awesome as well. I can name some of them. The Super Mario Galaxy games, Dark Souls, Bayonetta, you know, The Walking Dead, for example. There's so many great games, you know, Red Dead Redemption and Saints Row. Let's see, you know, some of the old, smaller games, you know, Journey, Outland, just so many games that came out since then though, but that's still to this day. Like Skyrim, for example. Like Skyrim, even though that was kind of my favorite game of 2011, though, even though I did put it though. But looking back, like I really enjoyed Skyrim though. But the fact is, I didn't put half. I didn't really put like around half. I only put around half the time into that game that I did Skyrim and did Oblivion. Mainly because the fact was I was just about to finish university in a few months' time when I got it there, and therefore I had more time than I did with Skyrim though, and therefore I didn't put much time. And the fact is, there wasn't a whole lot of games that came out back then as well, as opposed to what there is now, because just flipping bundle of game comes out every week though, whether it's an indie game or if it's a AAA game. Back then it wasn't as bad, it wasn't as maddening, and therefore I pretty much put my time into that game. I put like over 150, 160 hours into that game, and I just absolutely loved it. Loved every minute of it. Just traveling around the world of the Cameron and Cyrodiil. It's set in Cyrodiil, and going through the Oblivion gates and just doing all sorts of the various side quests, and the quest lines like the Mages Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, and all, and like the main story quest. Just building your character up to what the way you want it to be, using the different spells and that there. And it was just a magical experience though, and I absolutely loved playing that game though, and just couldn't get enough. I like spent hours, sometimes hours every day playing that game, and like that's the reason why it's still to this day my favourite game of this generation, because I just put so much into it though. It's by far my favourite game of that year. Nothing came close to beating that game that year, and absolutely loved playing it though, and it's still my favourite game. I played the Shivering Isles and really enjoyed it as well though, but I haven't gone really back too much though, but the fact is, I still absolutely love playing it though, and the memories in my head playing that game just bring me back, and this is like that. This is just a really lot of fun though. So it was. But the Xbox 360, I think it's a great console though. Like I got Xbox Live Gold for it though. I never got Gold on the original Xbox though, because the fact is that I didn't have broadband at the time though. But I guess I came back from university because of personal problems. Went back for a 4-week trip pretty much back home here. And that's when I got my 360, and that's when I got my Xbox Live Gold subscription, and that's pretty much like that's because we had broadband at the time here at my house, not here no, but next door, and therefore I got Gold. And oh boy, Gold is just something else though, just the online capabilities though, and playing with friends. So like I've met a lot of great people online this generation though, because of Xbox Live Gold, and also on GameSpot and the like though, and just made some great friends, and still talk to some of them to this day though. Something like lost contact with a few of them unfortunately though, but it's a way of life though. It tends to happen. It's the same way with friends. So like I used to be friends with some people around here, but unfortunately we didn't have any big arguments or anything. We just sort of drifted apart though, and just lost contact with each other though, and it's just the way of life though. But I do cherish those memories of growing up playing with friends here, and same way with playing online with people over the years though. We had these big Gears of War bashes though in early 2007 that went on for months and months, just every night. So this is when I was unemployed, looking for a job, etc. Just pretty much staying up for several hours, like staying up way early in the morning though here, just playing multiplayer with a bunch of guys, and just like me getting really pissed off and things like that. It was just a really enjoyable, lot of fun though. And unfortunately, like as the years have gone on, that kind of like drifted apart as well. I still play pretty much a few of them though, but it's not the same though as what it used to be though. And like I don't have Gold now because I don't feel it's warranted. I don't even play online anymore though, hardly. On there, like I played GT Online, just resubscribe for the month or just to check out and see what it's like though. It's decent enough though, but it's not warranted. It doesn't warrant like subscribing to like a full year again or whatever though. And I just like, yeah, it's not worth it anymore though. Like I used to think it's worth it though back then, because I spent a lot of time spent a lot of time playing online stuff though, but as the years went on, I found it less and less appealing. And especially with the fact that a lot of the stuff that was on it came on, like, you know, Netflix and stuff like that, pretty much was behind a paid barrier, because you can get that free everywhere else, on the PS3 and the Wii, and you know, online PC as well. You can get all that stuff free everywhere else, but the fact is you have to pay a subscription to access that stuff, and that was kind of a big no-no. So it's like, okay, why is this behind a paid wall? It's kind of silly, but I just like, yeah. But then I met my subscription expire in last May there. You know, he subscribed there for the month again recently though, but I just let him subscribe after pretty much being on Part Gold for, you know, 7 years pretty much. I was like, yeah, I'm not it's not worth it anymore. And from what I could say though, you know, with the next gen stuff though, there's nothing really there that appeals to me. It's like, okay, the TV stuff, okay, that's kind of cool though, but is that really worth, you know, paying for it again? Like this whole gold stuff as well, games of gold, which is, hey, this is pretty cool, but the fact is you're giving us games that are like 7 fucking years old, 6, 7 years, like really old games at this point. Like heck, you can get them for next to nothing anyway though, so why do I have to pay? Like that's kind of silly. Like they're free, yeah, that's good, that's pretty cool. And I think the fact is, I think they're free anyway, even when you lapse your subscription on like PS Plus. That's probably the advantage like that one has. But the fact is, PS Plus gives you more recent games than, you know, thing does, and that's why I find that more appealing, because the fact is, hey, we give you games from, like, you know, the last year or two. Some games you get from this year, but hey, what does Gold give you? Gold gives you Halo 3. When that came out, 2007. Oh, it gives you Assassin's Creed 2. When that came out, 2009. Oh, let's give you Crackdown. Oh, that came out in 2007 as well. Oh, we'll give you Rainbow Six Vegas. That came out 7 fucking years ago. Like, seriously? I don't know, I just find it really strange that they're giving you games. Like, sure, it's cool they're giving you them for free, but the fact is, you can get most of those games to next to nothing anyway. It's only like, okay, that's fine, like, yeah, next to nothing anyway. But the Xbox 360, that's great though. Like, it did have its problems. The Red Ring of Death, I've had it, and a lot of people I know have had it though, and had to switch multiple consoles and get them fixed and things like that there. And it's kind of, that's probably the biggest drawback it had though. It's just that it's technical failures, because a lot of people I know have had the Red Ring of Death and had to go through multiple consoles. I've had the Xbox 360 S now for over 3 years, and it hasn't gone on me though, because I think it's better than what it used to be. But heck, this is my 4th one. The first one I got though, I had to switch because it wasn't to do with the Red Ring. It was like another problem, like sort of the AV or something, cables problem or whatever. I just got it replaced then. I kept the hard drive, I think, but just got it replaced. Then the one I got then died on me pretty much a week before Mass Effect came out. Then I had to get it replaced. I got it fixed, and then I got it, and then it died on me, and then I got an arcade one, so I just got it online. I think it was crap or something though. It was like really lazy or something. I think I got it switched or refunded or something as well, and I think got another one or something, and then I basically give that one in the trade along with the hard drive and controller, now forward towards this one. Haven't had any problems with it pretty much since, although it runs very fucking slow. Now that's the problem, because the fact of the amount of stuff they put on with each iteration dashboard update now is just like, yep, it's good. It just tends to take a long time to load stuff up. I don't know if it's because of that stuff, or it's because of the fact that I have a lot of stuff on my hard drive. Probably that factors in and why it runs kind of slow sometimes as well. I'm rambling on here about all sorts of shit though, and probably kind of going off the topic at hand though, but this is probably going through some of my experiences pretty much with the consoles. So on the PS3, like I got it when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out here in June 2008 though, and I'm glad I did because that game came out and that ended up being my favourite game of that year. I absolutely love Metal Gear Solid 4. In fact, I haven't gone back and played it since then, no. Just weird though, but I never did go back and play it though, but I don't know how I feel about it now if I went back to it now, you know, 5.5 years later, nearly, but I just really enjoyed playing that game and through that game, no else. Like it surprised me. I thought I was going to say, yeah, it was going to be a pretty good game, but it actually surprised me. I just did not expect didn't expect to enjoy that game as much as I did though. And I love that. Like every year I do have those surprise games. Like, oh man, I didn't expect to love this game as much as I did though. Dark Souls a few years ago, I did not expect to enjoy that game as much as I did, but I bloody did, and I absolutely loved it. And that is probably my second favourite game of this generation, maybe, but pops, if not that, top 5 for sure, because just absolutely love that game though. And watching stuff online now, watching the load of Lost Souls and Jam Bomb pretty much just is itching me to want, just makes me just want to go back to that game so bad though, and play through the game though. But the PS3 came out, and it had its problems as well. Some people had hardware failures in it as well though, and also it had some of its, you know, it was a 2010 had this day was supposedly PSN was offline because the fact is it thought it was like a leap year or something, and it screwed up the clock or something, and it went off. And then of course the following year it had the whole PSN hack scandal where PSN was off for a better part of like a month pretty much for everyone. And the fact is I got Mortal Kombat, so I did, and I've got Mortal Kombat and like Portal 2 around the same time, and I couldn't play those games online because the fact is PSN was down. Pretty much that the week those games came out here, I was like, yep, that's great. And SOCOM, the last SOCOM game came out that week as well, and the fact is that's an online game. I think there was a single player component, but that's an online game. The fact is that came out that week, and therefore you couldn't play it for a month, and that pretty much killed that game in a way. And I think that was the last game Zipper did, because they're no longer with us now. I think that might have been the last game that they did though, but I'm not entirely sure. But c'est la vie. But yeah, the PS3 it kicked ass as well. A lot of great games for it as well. Uncharted, you know, Metal Gear Solid 4, you know, Ratchet and Clank games, Little Bit Planet though. Like they're good games, but they're kind of flawed though as well. You know, like, you know, the Souls series as well. Like Demon Souls came on the PS3, and you know, Dark Souls as well. It's like great games. So just some like underlooked games as well. You know, Folklore and games like that there. And you know, like they have these HD trilogy ones, which are kind of, you know, a bit maybe overboard though. But like they brought some games to the HD trilogy, and they're great. You know, like Ratchet and Clank, Sly, Jak and Daxter. You know, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, God of War, etc., etc., etc. Great, just a great bunch of games on the PS3 as well though. And yeah, it's like some great, you know, downloadable games, the same way as Xbox 360. It had some great downloadable games as well, like some awesome downloadable games that, you know, I find great back, you know, when it first came out though. But nowadays there's not really a whole lot of stuff that come out for it that are actually particularly, you know, okay, like, you know, okay, nothing really great coming out this way, mostly crap, because Steam has most of the great, you know, it usually comes out in Steam, and usually sometimes you get them cheaper because they manufacture online for some other website or something. So, but yeah, and finally the Wii came out in 2006, like I said, and it pretty much, you know, it pretty much blew everyone's expectations of how well it did. Because the last few consoles for Nintendo did moderately well though, but the Wii came and pretty much blew everyone away though. The fact is it sold a whole heap ton of consoles. And although a lot of them were considered like, yeah, just bought, and the fact is, like, you couldn't get that console for the better part of like 2 years, and like I think in America especially though, I think we probably had some problems at the start though, but I don't recall them being really as much as bad here as it was in North America, because the fact is, like, people were going there a year after the console came out and still couldn't find it anywhere, and people were, you know, charging up the ass on line though for it then, because it was so hard to find. And a lot of people's only experience of the Wii is playing Wii Sports. I never played another game on it. They only got that Wii and the Wii Sports, and that was it. It brought families together. It's just how simple, like motion control. You just use this Wii pointer and just, you know, click and click, and that was it. That was all there was to it. A lot of people, like that brought in a lot of new audience. And some people detest, like, oh, doing that. Why did they do this here? It's so fucking kiddie and all that there. But the fact is, I love the fact that they did bring this new audience in. Some audience probably did go on to play other games and other consoles because of that there, while others just, you know, just kept to their old tried and true with the Wii and just, you know, playing some simple games like Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resorts and other games that are just very simple to play with the Wii remote. And out there, you know, mini game collections and out there, because it did have a lot of shovelware as well, and the way it did. It really did have a lot of shovelware, you know, and it's just like, you know, it did have a lot of shovelware, but it did have a lot of fantastic games as well. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and No More Heroes, Donkey Kong Country Returns, and Zack and Wiki, and House of the Dead Overkill, and Legends of the Twilight Princess, not Skyward Sword. I said Twilight Princess. I didn't think too much of Skyward Sword. I never played through it. You know, Sin and Punishment, Star Successor, and the remake of Klonoa, Red Steel 2. That's fucking. I'm trying to think of other games. I can't think of any other games. The WarioWare Smooth Moves. That game's awesome. You know, Boy in His Blood. That game's awesome. And there's other ones as well. Can't think of at the moment here. I'm trying to look over here though and think of them, but I just can't. Knight's Journey of Dreams. I liked that game. I know a lot of people thought that game sucked, but I liked it because I love Knights on the Sega Saturn, and it's a, you know, pretty good sequel. There's a lot of great games on the Wii though. There's several good third-party games though, but like a lot of the Mario Kart Wii, how can I forget that? I played that game non-stop all night for a good several weeks. So the Wii did have its, did have its games as well. It did have its audience. A lot of people loved that, but again, a lot of people ended up making that console just gather dust because not a whole lot of the games came out for that they particularly want to get and see. Like, okay, nothing here I want. It's going to continue gathering dust, and I can see that there. But there is a lot of great games, and my favourite games are the Super Mario Galaxy games. I absolutely love those games. They're in my top 5 games of the generation as well. Love them games to death. So I did. And like each of the consoles, each of the current gen consoles had their highs and had their lows. They had their pros and cons. But the fact is, I own 3 of them though, and I've got a multitude of games for each of them. A lot more so than on the Xbox 360 than the, PS3 and Wii, but still have a, healthy amount of games for each of them though. And like this generation kicked ass though. It had a lot of great games, had a lot of great moments for me though. But it did bring out the worst in people as well. The whole controversy stuff on certain news stories and things like that as well, which I might talk about in another video, in another topic and video though. But I think this is going to go. I think I'm going to stop it here now because this is going on for 30 minutes. And I told you, I ramble the fuck on about all sorts of nonsense. So and this is probably maybe not toward. This probably wasn't the exact one I meant to talk about though here, but I just wanted to talk about some of my experiences with these current gens though, and what pretty much giving them their sort of little exposure, because they're better night with a high and not with a bang, but in a bang, not a whimper in my honest opinion though. Now the Wii did though, because it pretty much died on its ass, unfortunately, because hardly any games came out for the last few years. I think the last game of it came out mainly, like the last game I got for in terms of new releases was last July of last year. Beat Rhythm Paradise. I think that was the last game I got for it. Don't think there was anything else that came out for it in terms of that new releases. There might have been. There already actually has been, but nothing that I particularly wanted. So anyway guys, this is Dog signing out here. I'll do a video tomorrow, it'll be top 10, probably maybe top 10 games of the generation, and try to say, you already talk about some of the games already, like this generation, or just try to, you know, number it down and say, okay, let's see what, I know what my favourite game is though, but I'm going to talk about some of the other games of the generation that I really enjoyed those well, and I look for a Friday one, which I pretty much will go through what I'll be playing this week, and that'll be Dog's Diary pretty much. So anyway guys, take care. This is going on way too long, sorry, but toodles and rock on.